The cafe was never quiet, not on a weekday afternoon, not with its humming espresso machine, its clattering plates, its mismatched customers tucked into booths like puzzle pieces. But today everything felt louder than usual, like every sound was echoing inside Lila's already exhausted mind. She shifted her weight from one aching foot to the other, forcing a polite smile as she delivered a tray to table 5. The couple there didn't look at her, too busy arguing about who had forgotten to bring the car keys. She set their plates down gently, even though her hands trembled from carrying too much, too fast. Just one more hour, she told herself. Just finish this shift. You need the money. Her tips had been slow all week. The grocery prices had gone up again. And her baby boy, sweet, chubby-cheeked Noah, had eaten the last of his formula that morning. She'd mixed the bottle and pretended she didn't notice how little powder was left, shaking it just a few extra seconds like that would magically make more appear. It hadn't. She took a deep breath and turned from table 5, only to run straight into her manager. Mr. Grayson looked stressed, even more than usual. His thinning hair stuck up in odd places, and the pen behind his ear kept slipping every time he moved too quickly. "Lila," he barked, "did you double-check order 6? They're complaining the sandwich isn't what they asked for." I'm sorry," she said, startled. "I'll fix it right away." "That's not the point." His voice rose again, drawing the eyes of several customers. "The point is that this is the 3rd mistake today." "3rd? Are you even paying attention?" She swallowed. Her hands tightened around her tray. "I'm trying," she whispered. "Well, try harder," he snapped. "This cafe is busy. I can't babysit every order you hand out. If you can't handle a simple shift." Something inside her cracked under the words. For the past 3 months, she hadn't slept more than a couple hours at a time. She woke to Noah's hungry cries, to the creak of her old apartment door, to thoughts of unpaid bills and growing debts. She worked double shifts when she could, traded sleep for money, drowned exhaustion in cheap instant coffee. But she never complained. Not once. And now, while her body ached and her mind spun and her heart squeezed with fear that she wouldn't be able to buy formula tonight, she was being scolded in front of a room full of strangers. Her vision blurred. Her throat tightened. Her voice, barely able to escape, trembled as she whispered. "I'm just trying to buy baby formula." The tray in her hands dipped for a second. A quiet clatter echoed as one fork slid against a plate. Lila blinked hard, refusing to let the tears fall. The entire cafe seemed to freeze. A middle-aged man at the counter, sipping his coffee, paused with his cup halfway to his lips. The teenager by the window lowered one earbud, eyebrows lifting. The mother with the restless toddler looked over suddenly, eyes softening. Even the elderly man reading the newspaper lowered it, peering at Lila over the rim of his glasses. Lila felt their eyes on her, and her face flushed warm with embarrassment. She hadn't meant to say it out loud. The words had just slipped out. Too much pressure. Too much fear. Too much exhaustion. And she hated that she had cracked like that. Mr. Grayson's expression faltered. The irritation on his face drained slowly, replaced by something that looked like uncertainty. His frown loosened. His brows pulled together, not in frustration this time but in confusion, maybe even concern. "What do you mean?" he asked, his voice quieter, but still stiff. She swallowed again. The room felt too small, the air too warm. "My baby's formula ran out this morning. I'm working as much as I can this week to buy more." The toddler's mother covered her mouth softly, her expression shifting from casual curiosity to startled empathy. Mr. Grayson stared at her for a long moment. His mouth opened slightly, then closed again as if he didn't know what to say. She wasn't trying to get pity. She wasn't trying to make excuses. She was just tired of working so hard, tired of pretending she wasn't drowning, tired of everyone assuming she didn't care or wasn't trying. She cared more than they knew. "I didn't mean to," she began, but her voice cracked mid-sentence. And that was when someone spoke. "Miss?" It was an elderly woman at a booth near the back, her gentle voice somehow cutting through the heavy quiet like a warm breeze. She motioned with a slight wave of her hand. "Come here a moment." Lila hesitated. She didn't want more attention. She wanted to melt into the floor, disappear, or fast-forward her day until she was home, holding Noah close and telling him everything would be okay, even if she wasn't sure it would be. But the woman's eyes were kind, soft with understanding rather than judgment. Slowly, Lila stepped toward her. Behind her, the cafe remained silent. Even the coffee machine seemed to hold its breath. Mr. Grayson stepped aside awkwardly, suddenly unsure of what role he was supposed to play now. As Lila approached the booth, her mind raced. Why did I say that? Why couldn't I just hold it together? Why today of all days? The elderly woman smiled as Lila stopped beside her booth. "Sit, dear," she said gently, patting the seat next to her. "Just for a moment." Lila shook her head. "I can't, I'm still working." "No one will mind," the woman said firmly. "Trust me." Lila glanced back at the counter. Mr. Grayson didn't object. If anything, he looked too stunned to speak. "Okay," she murmured, sliding into the booth. Her hands rested on her lap, fidgeting slightly. The old woman studied her face, her tired eyes, the tension in her shoulders. "You look exhausted," she said softly. "And you look like someone who's been carrying far too much alone." Lila blinked fast, her eyes burning again. "I'm just trying my best." "I know, dear." The woman nodded. "And sometimes, when life gets heavy, even the strongest people whisper instead of shout." Lila felt something inside her loosen just a little. A small breath escaped her, shaky but real. Around them, the cafe slowly resumed its hum, not loud, not chaotic, but softer somehow. Like the entire room had shifted, recognizing the weight of the moment. Lila didn't know it yet, but this tiny crack in her day, this whispered confession spoken in a moment of weakness, was about to turn everything around. Her world felt like it was falling apart. But strangers were already beginning to lean in. Already beginning to care. Already beginning to change what would happen next.